responsible.
At Irish Life Health, we do health insurance, but not as you know it. Like our benefit plan, which gives you up to €250 back on a mix of benefits, like sports clubs, such as your local GAA club, dietitians, and fitness wearables. Helping you embrace a healthier lifestyle. Search Irish Life Health.
Hello and welcome back to the Irish Life Health Athletics Ireland micro meet, elite micro meet. Say elite micro meet 10 times fast, it's going to be difficult for you. Not as difficult as the races that we have coming up for some of these athletes. Difficult standards, the European indoor standards, to try and chase over the 1500 metre distance and the 800 metre distance for women and men respectively, as well as a very intriguing shot put to come. James Kelly is blessed amongst women there. He's the only male competitor for female competitors in the shot put, which is taking place at 4:25. But first, women's 1500 metres. In that 1500 metres, we have Amy O'Donoghue, Greta Strimkajka, we have Ellie Hartnett, and we have Michelle Finn as the pacer. So Michelle Finn is actually very close to the standard herself. She's ran 4:15 for the 1500 metres in France there last week. But she is focusing on the 3K. She has the 3K standard as well. She ran 9:02 for 3K, just only that standard alongside Kieran McGeehan. But Amy O'Donoghue is very, very close. She's ran 4:14, and the standard is 4:13.75. So the double national title winner, Amy O'Donoghue, is going to be chasing that extra couple of tenths of a second that she is missing from that race in Manchester. Her indoor PB is actually faster than her outdoor PB, so she's in sparkling form and we'll be hoping to go down under 4:10 in the summer. But 4:14 here, the Joe Ryan coach athlete, in fantastic shape. Michelle Finn, the pacer, after that 4:15 should be well capable of towing her along quite a bit of this race. So I got a text from earlier on. She was concerned about her pace judgment and in terms of where the clocks were and that kind of stuff in the stadium. So she's doing a very professional job. The Phelim Kelly coach athlete, a member of the Dublin Track Club, who are fair to say are running some very fast times all across Europe at the moment. Ellie Hartnett in this race as well, the UCD athlete, there in the centre of your shot in the yellow and blue. She has ran 4:21 outdoors and 4:22 indoors, so will be amongst the mix in this one, and is running well. And then Greta Strimkajka, the Rio Paralympian, in the black and orange of Clonliffe Harriers, has ran 4:38 outdoors and 4:40 indoors, so be a little bit off the pace in this one, but will be chasing her own times and being a valuable member of this field. But really the race at the front is going to be Michelle Finn. Can she get that pace right for Amy O'Donoghue to crack that standard and join the team that is heading to Turun in Poland. I haven't used that much today. That almost too easy in terms of puns. You know, the name of the place is called Turun. It's ridiculous. What were they thinking? If I was a member of the board that decides where the race is going to go, I think I would have factored that in. I would have went, yeah, that's right up there. You know, the story writes itself. So I said O'Donoghue in the green and white there on the left-hand side of the field. The Emerald AC athlete, 4:14 she's ran, and she's just trying to get that 4:13.75, so keep me a really good eye on that today. Michelle Finn in the blue is the pacemaker. So, sorry, Michelle Finn in the yellow is the pacemaker. Ellie Hartnett is in the blue. Michelle Finn is in, of course, the yellow and black of Leavale AC. So straight to the front is Finn and O'Donoghue, Hartnett and Strimkajka, all falling in behind in a formation. So we'll have to keep an eye on the pace as we go around here, and then I'll have to do some terrible mathematics to try and get myself up to speed on the pace. So in around 68 is perfectly acceptable. So 34 here through the 200 metres, and Michelle Finn's absolutely bang on, and just behind her, Amy O'Donoghue taking closer order, sitting in right behind in the slipstream, and we're hopefully going to tow her to a European indoor standard. Ellie Hartnett there, 4:21. UCD athlete just behind. She's going to try and hold on as best she can. She might be running a little bit on her own in this one, as the two athletes up front are running at that European indoor standard pace. But Hartnett will have to try and hold on. She's a very, very smart runner, and you expect to see the 28-year-old running close to her personal best of 4:21 indoors. But Finn is still on pace here at the moment. It is really going to be all about this time at the end of the race. Finn, though, looking well at the front and striding perfectly, and O'Donoghue nestled in nicely behind in that slipstream. As a single clap from Dave O'Shea rings out around the silent venue here. It's a very, very strange situation here, as O'Donoghue runs kind of slightly into the back of Finn there. So let's see how Finn is doing here as we get up towards the 600 metre mark. She was 68 through that 400 metres, so she's pretty much bang on pace again here. So a good pacemaking job being done by Finn here, who of course has ran 4:15 herself and that 9:02 3K, the Phelim Kelly coached athlete. And Aim O'Donoghue coming around the outside there a little bit, just needs to sit in and ensure that allow Finn to make that pace and allow herself to do as little work as possible until she needs to spend her pennies at the end. And Hartnett is running well there in third place, trying to hold on and trying to run her own race. But it is still Finn and O'Donoghue at the front, 2:14, 2:15. So we're pretty much bang on there, 2:16 to be 68. So that's around 4:15 pace. So we're looking at 4:13.75. So we're running evenly here, but O'Donoghue will have to do a little bit of work over that last 600 metres or so. We'll see to what point Finn goes here on this pacemaking effort. She's gone through 800, so this, as she comes around here now, will be the kilometre. And we'll see, will she go any further? Hopefully she will, because Amy O'Donoghue, the easier we can make it for her to try and get this European inner standard, the better. And we've gone through a K here in 2:50, so motoring well, these two athletes. Finn still at the front, the kind of diminutive athlete, better known really as a steeplechaser, was in the Rio Olympics as a in the steeplechase, but did win 2 national titles last year over 5K and the steeplechase. But she looks like she's going to try and drag her to the 1200 metres. And O'Donoghue is losing a little bit of ground here on Finn, and Finn, who was down really as a pacemaker, or an idea of being a pacemaker. But it looks like she's going to try and run all the way to the end here, and she's flying along here. O'Donoghue seems to be struggling somewhat, as Finn has really poured on the pace here from the front, and O'Donoghue has stepped off the field and is out of the race. So her day is done here. Finn is going to try and go all the way to the end and try and qualify for the European indoors here, and has in fact stepped off the track herself and ran 3:41. So it's Ellie Hartnett is going to hopefully get up here and get herself the win here. Michelle Finn nearly could have kept going there at that stage, but O'Donoghue had stepped off the track, so a bit of a strange situation here. Ellie Hartnett all the way to the bell here in 3:57, 3:58. And Hartnett is going to get the win in this one. Greta Skimkaika in second place, moving her way towards the finish. I'm surprised to see that Finn didn't just continue running there when she could have ran herself at least another 4:15. Strange situation. O'Donoghue looks to be in a little bit of bother, and the paramedics are going over there to have a investigation on that one, as Hartnett comes around into the home straight and is running well, but is going to be well outside her personal best of 4:21. So it looks like it's going to be about a 4:36, 4:37 finish. And it is in fact 4:35 for Ellie Hartnett, and we could see a PB for Greta Skimkaika here. It's going to be very, very close. She's ran 4:41 indoors, and that was a 4:42 performance from Greta Skimkaika. But a strange race. It was a strange day, and it's a strange competition now here at the Irish Life Health Athletics Ireland micro meet, elite micro meet. But strange, a strange finish. O'Donoghue has got up and is looking healthy. She's not in any major problems there, just maybe feeling a little under the weather. But Finn looking really good and poured the pace on there with, say, 300 metres left to run. So all happy and healthy, or well, at least healthy anyway. And we'll have the men's 800 metres in a moment, and we'll get you back when we have that ready to go. So we're back here at the Irish Life Health Analytics Ireland Micro Meet, and we have but a confusing time over the last few minutes in terms of the races that were taking place there. Michelle Finn and Amy Donoghue. Michelle Finn pacing and dropping out, and Amy Donoghue having a bit of a wobble there. And now we have some shot put action as well, where we think we're still warming up because there's athletes without numbers on and etc. And their event is not due to start for another 5 minutes. But we do have or another 10 minutes in fact, but we do have the men's 800, which is going to start in 5 minutes time. So that's going to be a cracker race. Mark English in there, and plenty more besides. So we do have Mark English, John Fitzsimons, Cian McPhillips, Conor Duncan, and I think Kevin Woods is meant to be pacing. I will just take a look over the gantry here. And Kevin Woods is there. So Kevin Woods looks like he will be pacing this one. So Mark English already has the European indoor standard from 2018. That was extended back to 2018. He has ran 1:44.84, and very close to that national record. So second fastest Irishman ever. 1:46.82 is his indoor personal best, beating the national record of Daniel Caulfield. And here is James Kelly. I think this is... We'll just see, because we haven't been told. It said this event is not due to start for another 10 minutes. So they look like they're still just in the midst of actually practicing. In fact, they are, yeah. Thankfully. That's James Kelly there. Be shooting for the European under-23 standard. As will a few others over the course of the day. But English already has his European indoor standard. And he has a few European indoor medals as well. One of the few you could say that about in Ireland. He has twice won a bronze medal, 2019 and 2014 at the European Indoors, and he also has a European Indoor silver as well from 2015. In fact, I will just take that because that doesn't add up. But he does have quite a number of European medals. I think one of those is an outdoor medal in 2014. But absolutely the class of nearly most domestic fields he ever ends up in. His bronze medal from 2014 from Zurich is an outdoor medal. So a silver and a bronze indoors, and two silvers. My apologies, I'm making an absolute hames of this. He has 2 bronze medals, 1 indoor, 1 outdoor, and he has 1 silver medal indoors. He also finished 5th at the World Junior Championships back in 2012, so has been around the game a long time. 13 national titles has Mark English, the absolute class of this field. But there are a few young guns, or relatively young guns, coming up behind him. John Fitzsimons, Cian McPhillips and Conor Duncan are filling out this field, with Kevin Woods being the pacemaker. Fitzsimons is a 1:48.09 man at his best outdoors. And he is a European junior bronze medalist from 2017. So he represents Kildare and the Red of Kildare. And he will be amongst trying to put the cat amongst the pigeons in this one and trying to take on Mark English. It's hard to tell what kind of shape he's in. He hasn't raced a whole lot in recent times. Conor Duncan in this one as well, 1:49.0. Is his outdoor personal best, and his indoor personal best is 1:50. So he will be fairly close to it as well, close to that kind of 1:50 barrier, which is kind of the domestic, domestic record or barrier to be broken indoors. If you can break 1:50 indoors, you're in very good shape and probably good enough to win most national indoor titles in the pre-Mark English era. And then we have Cian McPhillips in this one as well. It's interesting. He'll be going after the European junior standard of 1:51. He has ran it outdoors. He's ran 1:50.71 outdoors, and he's ran 1:51.27 indoors. So he will be trying to shoot for that standard of 1:51 and probably well below it, probably aiming for that 1:50 barrier. The Longford Athletic Cup athlete, the tall athlete in the blue that you'll see shortly. So lots happening here. You're on your screen there. You've got Luke McCann in that one as well, but I think Luke McCann is actually only running the 1500 meters tomorrow. I haven't seen him down there. So it is Fitzsimons, McPhillips, English, Duncan, and Woods is the pacemaker in the white and red of Crusaders AC. So we'll see how this plays out. Fitzsimons and McPhillips and Duncan are all very well matched in terms of their personal bests, around the 150, upper below the 150s. Fitzsimons the quickest of the rest at 148, but Mark English in terms of sheer class and in terms of a career personal bests and seasonal best is definitely the class of the field. But we'll have to see at the moment under the tutelage of Phelim Kelly how he is feeling going into this indoor season. He certainly looks in good shape, and be hoping to get back to his best, an indoor best of 146.82 over the next couple of weeks. Has that European indoor standard, and we'll be hoping that it all goes well over the next couple of weeks and he can take a crack at his maybe his indoor national record of 146.82. Previously held by Daniel Caulfield, whose brother is a guy called John Caulfield, who managed Cork City to the national, the soccer league. They won the Irish Soccer League there a couple of years back, 2017 or so. And I think it was the record goal scorer for Cork City. So that's irrelevant, but just thought I'd mention it. So that's the kind of calibre Mark English has taken down in the past. So 5 athletes in this one. Kevin Woods in the red shorts there, kind of left of your shot, is the pacemaker. After this we'll have the shot put, and then at 6 o'clock we will have the men's 3K, 3,000 metres, just shy of 2 miles. Laps after laps, indoors, 15 laps. You wouldn't want to be bad at maths. And we have quite a number of athletes have that 3K standard as well. So John Travers and Hiko Tonosa are in that one, alongside Connor Bradley, Darren McElhenney and Mihal Power. So all those athletes will be well matched. And obviously in that shot put as well, that'll be taking place. We have quite a number of athletes in that one as well. James Kelly obviously in the men's, and in the women's, Michaela Walsh, Ciara Sheehy, Kate O'Connor, who ran earlier in the hurdles, and Casey Mulvey of Innievale AC. So very well matched 800 metre field here, and we'll really get to see if Mark English is on form. He'll be at the class of the field, but depending on the shape he's in, the other 3 athletes are well capable, particularly if someone makes a bit of a jump. Fitzsimons is well placed to do that with his previous 148 effort. So you just don't know. You just don't know is probably my mantra, because I regularly don't know. So keep your comments coming in on the stream and keep sharing on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, and get as many people watching this. You could watch this, or you could watch Liverpool and Everton at 5:30. It's up to you. I know I'd be here watching the shot put in the men's 3K. So Mark English was great to see. It would be great to see how he does now over the 4-lap distance indoors, the 800 metres, half mile, 880 yards. It's not actually 880 yards. It's slightly different, but that was the old method back in the 1950s when Ronnie Delaney broke the Irish record by running under 2 minutes, and now the record is at 146.82 with Mark English, the Donegal man. Transferred over from Letterkenny to Finn Valley as well, but still running in the Adidas singlet there. So very shortly we'll be on track. We're actually 2 minutes behind schedule, so we'll hopefully see ourselves on track now very shortly. These athletes are kind of wandering around, but all happy to get a chance to compete. That's kind of been the big thing from today. If you're chatting to any of the athletes, that it's very much a case of being delighted to actually get a chance to compete and get a shot at racing. They're not as unhappy as you might normally see. Athletes tend to be very unhappy a lot of the time, and in this case they're all quite happy to be here, to be racing. So onto the line, Kevin Woods just on the outside in the white there of Crusaders. Then John Fitzsimons just inside him. Mark English there in lane 4. Then Cian McPhillips of Longford, and then Conor Duncan then of Vertote, then just in lane 2. And out strongly is Woods there, the pacemaker, making sure he gets out in front of the rest of the field. And McPhillips is going strongly, and they're all crowding around. McPhillips has actually gone in front of English there, and he's taken closer order up as far as Woods. So it is Woods, McPhillips, English, Duncan and Fitzsimons. And McPhillips has really gone after this and shown no bit of deference to the elder statesman that is Mark English amongst this field, but Woods going through strongly there in about 27 seconds, so he is running strongly here. McPhillips then in second place, and English losing a little bit of ground at the moment to McPhillips, who's really up on the shoulder of Woods. Fitzsimons then has taken close order into 4th place, and Duncan is a little bit adrift at the back of the field, but will come back into it, the long striding athlete from Vertote. And it is 51-52 through the bell there, where the bell would normally be in the outdoors. McPhillips then in second place, and English in third. English holding on well. McPhillips going through the inside in a Rui Silva-esque move. European Indoors 2009. And English then is in second place, and it will try and hold on to McPhillips as best he can, the young athlete from Longford, going for and hoping to smash the European junior standard of 151. It is 118 here at the actual bell, and English is on the shoulder of McPhillips. It's going to be a great duke out here between the athlete in the making and the athlete who is still at the top of the Irish tree here. Fitzsimons and Duncan are done and dusted, but the class of the field has now been shown as English goes around with ease around McPhillips. McPhillips is trying to get back at him now, and English coming into the home straight, trying to hold on. McPhillips is going to come back at him, and English could lose to another Irishman on domestic soil for the first time since Carl Griffin. And on the line, 146.14. We did not see that coming. That is huge from both McPhillips and English. That is, whoever got that is a national record holder. 146.14. Unbelievable performance. They were making it look so easy. We weren't even thinking about an Irish record. But 146.14, if that is correct, that is an incredible performance from both athletes. And McPhillips came back at English there in the home straight, and we probably need to show that whole thing again. Or at least from 300 metres out. You can see coming into the home straight, English looked like he was away and home here, and McPhillips came back at him again, striding powerfully up the home straight. And I couldn't tell you who got that on the line, but an incredible performance from both those athletes. I said it didn't seem like it was that quick, but English Thomas smiling ruefully at McPhillips there and going, "You came back at me, did you? Fair play to you." No one has come back at English in a long time. I think Carol Griffin was the last person to beat Mark English. We'll just see here coming into the home straight. It's going to be very hard to tell from the angle we're at here, but it looked for all intents and purposes like McPhillips is going to be done here, and that it is Mark English, by the way, who got that one. 146.10, new national indoor record, and just on the line holding off McPhillips. What a race. Almost didn't think it was going to be anything other than a Mark English procession up the home straight there with 200 metres to go, and McPhillips 146.13, making him the second fastest Irishman of all time. And McPhillips, certainly if he goes to the European Juniors, that is held, then that has now become he's become a raging hot favourite for that race. John Fitzsimons 147.80. You'd almost think that didn't look like it was as quick as that. But incredible performance from all those athletes. Very, very quick. Well paced by Kevin Woods, it must be said as well. But really, really impressive performance all around. Incredible stuff. We'll just get an official eye on those results. The officials are kind of wandering around there looking very concerned. But incredible performance from both Mark English and Cian McPhillips, and both athletes will be going to the European Indoors very shortly. And a huge PB as well for John Fitzsimons. So Conor Duncan with 153.15 to round out that field. And we are on to the shot put. I'm just kind of almost in shock there, I have to say, and I've no one to be in shock to tell that I'm in shock, except for all of you at home. Incredible race. Just goes to show that they looked very much like I never even thought for a second that they were going to be close to the national record as they came around with 200 metres to go, because they looked so controlled and comfortable over that last lap, and only coming into the home straight. I thought maybe English might be in a little bit of trouble, but didn't think they were running as fast as they were there. An incredible performance from both of those athletes. So we'll just get an idea on that time very shortly. And in the meantime, we will have the shot put. It'll be starting in about another minute or two's time, and we will get you as much information as we can from that shot put. So apologies to all the shot put fans out there, but we decided we better interview the new Irish record holder, or the same guy, new record, Mark English there, 146.1 in a race that I'm still recovering from. Unexpected national record there today for English, and McPhillips breaking English's national under 20 record then as well, I think, off the top of my head. So we're into the shot put here, and we will have interviews with quite a few of the athletes today, which will play after the shot put. But we do not have one with Cian McPhillips, as he was otherwise engaged on the phone to God, as they say. So he'll be back to us. This is Kate O'Connor here in the shot put. We'll just try and figure out whether or not we can get on the Irish Life Health, get the fully up to date scores, and we can. So Michaela Walsh has already thrown 15 metres. This is Kate O'Connor on her third throw. So Michaela Walsh threw 14.36, 14.67 and 15 metres for the Swinford AC athletes. Ciara Sheehy then 12.72 and then 13.05, and then a foul in her third round. That was Kate O'Connor's third round there. She's thrown 12.70, 13.48, and next up we'll see Casey Mulvey, the 17-year-old from Innievale AC, who's thrown 13.64 and 14.69. So Kate O'Connor is not too far off there. She just threw 14.22, which is not too far off her personal best of 14.50. This is Casey Mulvey, who's thrown 14.46, was her previous personal best. She threw a personal best in the last round, so in good form today. And steps out of the circle there, so that one will not count. Really going for it, and that one 14.46, as I said, was her previous personal best, and she threw 14.69 in the previous round. Here's James Kelly, brother of John, and he's going to be shooting it out there. I think this is, according to the start, this is his first throw, but I know he's actually thrown a couple of more beforehand, so that result obviously hasn't been updated yet, but he has thrown 16.58 in the past and 18.30 outdoors, and that is going to be a no throw. He's gone outside the sector on that one and absolutely clobbered the structure we have up here. So apologies again to the shot put fans, one man show here, so we had to run back down to have a chat with Mark English. As I said, we didn't get to, unfortunately, chat to Cian McPhillips, but what a run that was by Mark English. As I said, I apologize. I don't feel like I gave it justice, because I didn't expect a national record from Mark English. Recently transferred over to Phelim Kelly there, and is working with the Dublin Track Club, and has come out and broken the national indoor record, 146.1, so taking about 0.7 of a second off that. And obviously Cian McPhillips, breakout star as well, the junior athlete, put him very much in contention for the European Juniors later this summer, and obviously will have ran the qualifying standard for the European Indoors. So women's shot put, this is Emerald AC's Ciara Sheehy, 13.05 in the previous round. I said Ciara is a 13.85 outdoors performer at her best. That is an indoor PB, the 13.05, just barely by 2 centimetres. That looks like a fair old throw there from Sheehy, the Emerald AC athlete. Big contingent from Emerald AC at this elite meet. And we'll see if she has thrown further, but already on a PB today, even though a very slight PB. As you can see, the national record, of course, 17.06 by Marita Walton in 1982. And the qualifying standard is 18.20, so it's a fair old distance off these athletes at the moment. That was 12.69 from Ciara Sheehy. This is Kate O'Connor, the heptathlete, competed earlier on, set 2 PBs in the hurdles, one after another, and she'll be hoping to do the same here now in the shot put. As I said, 14.50 thrower at her best. I think these could be indoor personal bests that she has thrown here, in fairness, but 14.22 in that previous round, so gaining all the time. And up next is Casey Mulvey from Innievale AC. That was a 13.44 throw from Kate O'Connor. And here's Mulvey with the rotational technique and just falls out of the circle. Look at a serious throw there as well. I think they might measure that just for kicks to let them know how far it was, and they haven't done that. And here's Michaela Walsh, 15 meters with her last throw in round 3. We don't seem to have round 4 throw for her. And a serious throw there from Michaela Walsh. That's looks to be beyond the 15 meters that she threw earlier on. We'll see now in a moment. She looks relatively happy. And of course, James Kelly as well, stepping up very shortly. The Finn Valley athlete. So we don't have any results for him thus far. He's personal best, of course, 18:30 outdoors, 16:58 indoors. That looks like a good throw. I'm not too sure about the sector, but I can't see from here, but they are measuring, so he's throwing, of course, the 7.26 kg implement. And now that Casey Mulvey throw, of course, was a foul. 14.83 from Michaela Walsh. Kate O'Connor looks like she's getting ready next after Ciara Sheehy. So they're motoring through this shot put competition. So once again, to confirm there, 146.10 for Mark English, new national record. 146.13 for McPhillips. What a race. 147.80 for John Fitzsimons, also under the European standard. That is Ciara Sheehy. 13.05 best so far. It's personal best for her indoors, but of course has thrown further outdoors. 14.46 outdoors. And next up is Kate O'Connor, national record holder for the heptathlon. Getting her practice in here. 13.44 in that last round, so still working off that third round performance of 14.22. So a clean throw there now from O'Connor. Just thrown well. Current season leader was Enya O'Driscoll, 13.06. That has been well beaten today by Michaela Walsh in her 15 meters. 15 meters flat. It's almost too good to be true. It's almost, you know, I don't know. I didn't see it. Here is Casey Mulvey of Innovale. 14.69 has been her best throw today, so she's most likely to challenge Michaela Walsh here. That's a personal best for her. 13.37, by the way, for Kate O'Connor there in round 5. So the rotational technique has caused her trouble, and it has caused her trouble again. She's fallen out of the circle. So really going for it there. Everything intact, all happy after that fall, but really going for that rotational technique, and has had 3 fouls now in a row. So really trying to push it out. Has got a personal best today, so knows obviously that she's throwing well. But like all these things, when you're in good form, you're very close to the edge, and in this case she is very close to the edge of that circle and is falling over it. Here's Michaela Walsh, the Swinford AC athlete. Better you know as a hammer thrower. That's a serious throw there as well from the Swinford lady. 15 meters. She's had the 2 of the best 3 throws today. Casey Mulvey getting in there with that 14.69, but she's also thrown 14.67, so everything over the 14 meters today. Here comes James Kelly again, and once again, apologies. Don't have any results for James thus far, so it'll have to remain a mystery. But James Kelly, 18.30 at his best. He's had a couple of fouls, a couple of setters. He's happy with that one, and that is longer than anything he's thrown today. And you could normally tell by the reaction how far it's going to be. But he looks very happy. Indoor personal best, of course, for James Kelly. 16.58. So he'll certainly be open to go beyond that, and I think he may have done so. Here, of course, is Kira Sheehy, last throw. The Emerald AC athlete, 13:05 personal best today, set today in round 2. Kira, of course, chasing that standard of 13:75 for the European Juniors. She's a good bit off that today, but all it takes is one throw. So, getting in some expert advice here from Philip Conway, and just to say that the athletes are doing very well in terms of throwing, as most would be throwing outdoors and struggling with the sector in the indoor shot here, and then also the size of the ball in the indoor shot is actually a little bit different to the outdoor shot, so harder to get used to, and would have more than likely they've all been throwing with outdoor shot puts over the last while. Kate O'Connor here with a big throw. 15-17, by the way, for Michaela Walsh in that last round. That's her longest throw of the day. Kira Sheehy was a foul on her 6th throw, so she finishes up with a PB of 13:05, not getting near that standard of 13:75, but she can still throw that outdoors, where her PB is 13:85, so over the standard. This is Casey Mulvey, the 17-year-old athlete. She's thrown 14:69 today, which is a personal best. She's also chasing the same standards. And once again, goes out of the circle there. Kate O'Connor was also a foul. So Mulvey has 4 fouls on the record, but does have that personal best performance. Very impressive from the Inivale athlete. And we'll see in a moment Michaela Walsh, who's leading this with that 15-17 performance. So Walsh had a very good series here. And she's walked out the front of the circle there, so knows that wasn't a great throw for her. She, of course, has thrown 15:36 indoors in the past. A bit off that standard, but 15:17 today, so not too far off our own indoor best. Of course, here is James Kelly. Once again, apologies, we still do not have any results for James Kelly at the moment. But he was happy with round 5. So we'll find out afterwards. And he stepped out of the circle on that one, and it's gone out of the sector. So that was a real effort, a real heft of a throw there from James Kelly. And hopefully get an idea of how he's doing. So still no, that was the end of the shot put competition there, but still no result for James Kelly. So we'll get that result to you as soon as we possibly can. And we'll have a couple of interviews coming your way as well. And I believe my efforts may be incorrect here, but I believe that Casey Mulvey, if Inivale is in fact in Cavan. No, it's a holiday apartment in England. That's very confusing. Yes, so sorry. Casey Mulvey is actually signed for DePaul University in Chicago, which is the largest Catholic university in the United States, and she is going there for university. So she threw a personal best today in that second round, 14:46, and we'll get an idea of that result from James Kelly, who will be chasing that standard himself in a moment. So to give you the full roundup on that women's shot put. Michaela Walsh, 15:17 with the win. Second place, Casey Mulvey, personal best, 14:69. Kate O'Connor, 14:22 in third, and a personal best for Kira Sheehy of 13:05. And, of course, we'll get you the men's as soon as we can. We might, in a moment, show you a couple of interviews, and then we'll set you off to go make tea, etc., and come back for the 3,000 metres. So I think... me thinking is always dangerous, so we do have a set of interviews. I'm not sure who's going to be first. I think Ger O'Donnell is going to be our first interview. We also have Mark English in there as well. And and Matthew Bean as well. We don't have anyone for the women's 1500, or we'll hopefully get a few more throughout the day. But here are a couple of interviews coming your way, and after that we'll bring it back for the men's 3,000 metres. Well, Ger, an eventful day, two races, a win and a loss. What are your thoughts on performances today?
Yeah, we're just saying it's 1-1 now, so we have to go for round 3. I think if we can sneak it into the timetable maybe later on. But I know it was good. Look, we have to remember we're in a really privileged position to get a race going at all here. So kind of had to check yourself a few times and say, come in here and enjoy it. And get a run out. The first race was bad from my perspective, and the calf kind of cramped up in the blocks, but it held up for the second one. I was saying if I was a younger man, I might have been safe and pulled out of the second one, but second race was better. 7.95 I think, so I'll take that anyway. Like, I mean, I've only got a couple of weeks of actual hurdling in, so it's good to know where you're at in terms of a marker.
Yeah, 8.07 in the first race and 7.95 in the second. Better start, I think, in the second race for you. Going forward here over the next couple of weeks, any plans for any races?
Well, I don't think we'll have any more races in Ireland anyway, indoors. Maybe if this event is going brilliantly so far, and I'm sure it will over today and tomorrow, so maybe that'll be a nice benchmark that we can pop a few more either indoors or outdoors recent or soon enough. Maybe if it's March, April, some outdoor races in Santry or something, that'd be great, because it's just you have to weigh up the options whether it's a risk to go abroad and race or not. But I'll see how things are. Like, that's a nice marker of where I'm at in terms of training. Get back and get a nice block in again now. Obviously won't be going to Europeans off that, so I can start focusing on some outdoor training and races.
Perfect. And training wise, over the last kind of couple of months, how restricted have you been in terms of training?
Fairly restricted, but probably not as bad as others. So I had access to track right up to Christmas. Then I had kind of a couple of weeks where I had no access to anywhere, so it was kind of, I was in Donegal for Christmas and I was on the beach, and I packed my gym into the back of the car as I have been doing all year. So it's been gym in the sitting room and train on the grass or the parks or the beach, whatever, and then got in here then into the indoor arena in the last couple of weeks, so that was great. But it was real kind of a rush job to get some hurdling and get some race prep stuff and specific stuff done. But look, I won't complain. I'm able to use the place here now, so I'm in a really privileged position, as I said, and to get any sort of racing in is a real bonus for the year.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Stuart.
Cheers, Ron.
Cheers. So, Matthew, a very good performance today in both races. A win in the first one, 8 flat, and then 7.99 in the second race. What are your thoughts on the performances today?
I'm just delighted to be running, and it's a bit of a surprise, to be honest. Like, having moved to 4 hurdles, I don't think I had any inkling in my own mind that I'd ever come back to the sprint hurdle. So to come back and kind of take off where I left it is really nice. Yeah, speaking of take off, your start, particularly in the first race was fairly electric for now a 400 metre hurdler. Have you been practicing starts a lot, or? Like, I found out last Thursday that I was invited to run, and kind of the competitor in me was like, no matter what shape I'm in, I want to compete. So I just got down on the track. I had 4 block sessions, 2 days apart every time, and just made sure to nail that, because it's always been kind of a weapon I've had in my arsenal. I like to be able to just always start quick. Even in the 4, I like to get out ahead of everyone and kind of set myself up nicely. Perfect. And in terms of how restricted you've been for training, is it something that's affected you over the last while, or? I've been very lucky. I've had access to the gym in Trinity College with scholarship, so I'm really, really happy with that. And then Irish Town Stadium, my local track, have given me access. So I'm in a very privileged position, as Ger said, to have access to things. And it's just a privilege to run here today, and just to even compete when no one else can is just brilliant. Brilliant. And that's 7.99, like your personal best is 7.93, so it's not too far away. My people are 7.84. Sorry, but 84. Yeah, it's not far off it, but like without the work done now, like I'd have to train for a long time. But as I said, that's my speed work done now for the 4, so my concentration turns back to that, and I'll prepare now for the summer. Perfect. Cheers. Yeah, thanks, Matthew. So, Mark, an incredible performance, 1:46.1, new national record. How does it feel?
Very tired. Unsurprising. Had a really tough race out there. Keane was a great athlete today. Delighted to get the win, delighted with the time.
And you've obviously over the last while been running well over the last couple of years in indoors and out. But this is a step up again. You're 27 years of age now. It's not exactly at the end of your career, but you're into the prime of your career at the moment. How does that feel to step back up to that 1:46?
Yeah, it's really nice, especially this age, as you said, because I'm not like a young guy anymore. But I really have to thank my sponsors for sticking with me throughout all these years. Adidas, Hegarty's Auto Services in Letterkenny, Diesel Card Ireland, Sport Ireland for funding me as well. So I wouldn't have been able to keep at it without their help. So really, really thankful to them, and nice to come back today and to run a quick time.
Yeah, and I suppose for so many years we've kind of looked at your races and gone that once you were turning on the form, you were kind of a class above for most of the last kind of maybe 8-9 years. But today, under a little bit of pressure in that last kind of 50-60 metres, did you think that anyone was going to come back at you?
No, I didn't think Ian would come back at me, but he's the future of Irish athletics. So, I mean, it was a great race, and it's nice to have that competition. And as I said, I was delighted to hold on by the skin of my teeth.
Great, and obviously European indoors now around the corner. Any other races planned in the meantime, or just straight to that?
I'll just go straight to the Europeans. I think I don't think I'll get out of the country, so I'm happy with that. To go into the Europeans with an Irish record.
Yeah, no complaints.
No, yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Thanks very much, Mark.
Thanks very
Cheers.
much.
So we're back here at the Irish Life Health Athletics Ireland Elite Micro Meet. And we have the men's 3,000 metres. Going to be joining that shortly there. Their lads have got their singlets on and are awaiting starters orders. So they'll be starting over on that side. So they're going to be moving their kit over here in line with COVID regulations. So a very impressive field here laid out for us here at this meet. We have 5 athletes in the field. We have Darren McElhenney, John Travers, Hiko Tonosa, Micheál Power and Conor Bradley. And we have Johnny Wan of Clonliffe Harriers to pace. So we've got very, very I feel that where we have a lot of equal runners here that are in around a very similar standard. The European indoor standard, by the way, is 7:58:50. So a lot of these athletes will have ran close to it or under it in the past, but maybe not in that shape at the moment. That kind of pace, we're looking in around 64s most of the way, 63, 64, all the way to the finish. So 32 seconds through the 200 metres are just slightly under it. So a pace all these men are capable of doing. Most of these men have ran on well under 3:45 for 1500. I suppose in terms of the class of the field, John Travers, the 3:55 miler, and the white there of the North Harriers just to the left of your shot. He is the fastest, the second fastest on paper, but the fastest over 5k is around 13:28 over 5k, 7:55 outdoors for 3k, 7:58 indoors, and he's a 3:55 miler. He was beaten last year by Darren McElhenney, just going out of your shot there in the yellow with the 2 bags. He's come a long way. Well, he's in UCD, but he's come a long way from Glengarriff. Maybe that's why he's 2 bags. And Ryanair wouldn't let him come with 1 bag, 2 bags, paid extra. But he has been away for the last while in Kenya, training in Kenya, alongside Killian Curhill and Jamie Battle. He's been there for 6 weeks in Lorna Kittlegat's camp, and he's been training like a demon. He's ran 8:06 indoors, 14:13 indoors for 5k, and he has ran 13:54 and 8:01 outdoors. So he'll be hoping at least to break 8 minutes, and you'd expect if he breaks 8 minutes, he'll be close enough to that standard of 7:58:50. We also have Hiko Tonosa's fastest in the field was 7:58 run in 2017. He's also ran 13:31 for 5k, both of those outdoors. But last year here in the National Indoor Arena, he ran 8:03 behind Travers and in front of McElhenney, if I recall correctly. And in the rest of the field, we have 2 very good athletes as well in Micheál Power in the white and blue. Cynthia, your shot there. He's ran 14:04 outdoors and 8:14 for 3k outdoors. But indoors, he wouldn't be at the same level as those outdoor PBs. Indoors, he's quite a tall athlete, but he'll be hoping to make a bit of a dent into those indoor performances now over the next 15 minutes. And we also have Conor Bradley there, the 33-year-old from City of Derry. He has ran 13:56 outdoors and 7:58 outdoors for 3k, and he's also ran 8:05 indoors. So he'll be in the red of City of Derry AC Spartans. So quite the field here. Johnny Wan, the Clonliffe Harrier, sub 3:45 man, is going to be pacing, and he'll be hoping to knock out those 32-second laps, 31 point laps all the way to the probably about 1,500 metres, and then let the lads duke it out all the way to the end. If we can get him to 2k, possibly, that would be ideal. I'm not too sure how far he's going, but he'll drag the lads on, hopefully, to a fast time. So, national title winner last year over 5k was Darren McElhenney. He beat Travers in a serious dust-up in Santry there in the late summer. It was his first national title. John Travers himself has several national titles to his name, so he'll be the most medalled, bejeweled man of the lot, and he'll be hoping to exact some revenge on McElhenney after last summer. So he's 9 national titles does John Travers. Obviously no national title on the line today, but a 7:58:50 performance will put them both in the mix for going to the European indoors, and Travers certainly will be hoping to roll back the years. He's only 29, not that old, but up against the young gun in Darmagh Kilhenny. Will be hoping to put that under, get stuck into that time. We already have quite a few qualifiers for the 3K. Sean Tobin has ran 7:48 already this winter, this long, miserable winter. Brian Fay has ran 7:53, and Jack O'Leary has ran 7:58. So we're not 100% sure on the selection process going forward, but we could conceivably have 5-6 athletes qualified for this European Indoors, having got the qualifying time. But as to whether or not those athletes will run or indeed go to the European Indoors is a different matter. So I'd imagine that the top 3 fastest times will go, which 7:48 I would suspect is out of these athletes' reaches, unless McElhenney has been absolutely flying it out in Kenya, probably out of the reach. Brian Fay's 7:53 may be also slightly out of reach, but Jack O'Leary at 7:58 over in Manchester, that may be within touching distance of these athletes today. So first of all, they have to get under 7:58.50 and beat the others, but it could be an absolute cracking race here. They're in a bit of a quandary of whether they should actually go after that or just try and run this standard and see how they go, but they'll have to run a little bit quicker than a 31 point to run down in that 7:48 region that Sean Tobin is in. One of the fastest Irish times of recent years. All those athletes there as well. Sean Tobin, Brian Fay. Fay is also qualified in the 1500 metres as well, so that may be able to move him across to the 1500, depending on how that rolls out. But Luke McCann, Andrew Koskin and Paul Robinson also qualified in the 1500, so plenty of selection decisions for our high performance director, etc., to make over the next couple of weeks. Mark English, John Fitzsimons, and now Cian McPhillips will round out that 800 metre team. So some fantastic distance performances happening on the male side, and I'm sure you've seen the multiple sub 205 runs on the female side over the last while. We've 3 athletes with qualifying times already, 2 of which are running tomorrow in the women's 800, as well as 2 qualified in the 3K and 1 qualified in 1500. So lots of high quality distance work happening across the country. But back here to Dublin, Abbottstown. Said Travers, Tonosa, Bradley, Power, McElhenney and Johnny Wan is pacing with 2 minutes to the official start time. And also in that men's shot put earlier on, for those of you who maybe have missed it, the 5th round throw, which James Kelly's roar indicated was a good throw. It's a 16:72 indoor personal best for James Kelly. Not to confuse him with his brother John, although it is quite easy to do so. So 2 minutes to start time. But down the centre of your shot there is Conor Bradley. Tonosa in the colours of Dundrum, South Dublin there is striding into shot. And behind that then McElhenney, the UCD athlete, Johnny Wan, the pacer, and just coming into the home straight there now is John Travers of Dunor Harriers. So these athletes will be looking to hit that 31 second pace as best they can. John Cronin says, are you ready to go? Which is always a difficult question to answer, as on the line you're half between wanting to get out there and show how well you've been training and to be competitive, and half of you is thinking, I wouldn't mind not being here. Could be anywhere else. Could be at home watching Liverpool Everton. 5 kickoff. Just take the score. So, are you ready, says John Cronin. Will we ever be ready? So, from the inside, John Travers, Hiko Tonosa, Conor Bradley, Mihal Power, Darren McElhenney, and on the outside, Johnny Wan, the pacemaker. And they're getting their marching orders about how to get out of there afterwards. You essentially have to run and then jump right over the fence and straight out, and your gear is gone. We've taken your gear already. It's already outside in a pile. That's not true, but they will be exiting the stadium very quickly. Enjoy the race, says the starter, as if any man could enjoy 3,000 metres, 2 miles of pain and misery indoors. 15 laps. And they go off quite steadily there, and Johnny Wan is going to try and fight his way to the front. Hiko Tanosa, 7:52, personal best, or 3,000 metres outdoors, set in 2017. I believe in Cork. He likes Cork, in fairness. Johnny Wan, though, gone straight to the front. The Clonliffe Harrier will get an idea of what kind of pace he's trying to set, and it is Bradley just behind that, then Travers, then McElhenney, and then Micheál Power rounding out that field with that glorious mop of hair that led me to be quite confused about an athlete I've known for many, many years. I didn't know who it was when I saw that hair. Wan going through in about 31 high there, so pretty much bang on pace for that 7:58.50 qualifying time. As I said, these athletes could, though, be in a little bit of trouble and may need to run a little bit faster to make sure they get ahead of Jack O'Leary, Brian Fay and Sean Tobin. But Wan leading them on a merry dance at the front of the field, pacing perfectly, and these athletes are in a wonderful train here. Tanosa in second. We'll see how far Wan actually goes as he gets up there now. 62 seconds, 63 seconds, so fairly even pacing there from Johnny Wan. And the Clonliffe Harrier is doing a great job there at the front. Tanosa, the diminutive athlete there, in second place from DSD, and then Bradley in third, the City of Derry AC Spartan. He's hoping it won't be a Spartan medal cupboard at the end of this race, if we are in fact handing out medals, which we are not. Travers in fourth, McElhenney in fifth, and Micheál Power. He may power to the front throughout the race, who knows. He's in sixth place, the West Waterford AC athlete. So another maybe slightly slower lap there from Johnny Wan, but still hitting good pace there, and all the athletes still in the mix and bunching up a little bit behind the Clonliffe Harrier, who's kind of stepped out to the outside of lane one there, as Tanosa is very much on the inside of that lane, and he may look like he's going to take over after this and drag them and the other athletes along. But Wan here coming up towards the 800 metres, and he is going through in 2:05, 2:06, so he is well under that pace and dragging these boys along. And Tanosa is right up there in second place, almost on the back of Johnny Wan. And there's a bit of a gap there to Conor Bradley, and Travers, McElhenney and Power would want to take closer order here and make sure that they are also right up behind the pacemaker, because there is about a metre and a half gap between Tanosa, and who's almost in the pocket of Wan at the moment, and then Bradley just behind that. So it's a good metre or so, a good half a second between those athletes, as Travers then recognises the danger and takes closer order, gets up there into third place. McElhenney then, spotting that, has now moved around Bradley as well, and he's taking closer order, and he's going to sit on the shoulder of Travers, the elder athlete, the 29-year-old there from Dunor. And Micheál Power still hanging on gamely there in sixth place. All the athletes still very much involved in this one as we come around here, and it is well past the K at this stage. We're coming around and we're on 3:09 there as you pass that. So going well here at the moment. These athletes will try and get a mile split for you as well when they come around. Wan there leading at the front there. He's leading well, just still on that outside of lane one. Tanosa made a small bit of a gap back to Travers, but nothing really to write home about. But Travers is going to close that gap up, and McElhenney then just in behind him. The athlete spent 6 weeks training in Kenya and is now back down here at sea level in Abbottstown. So Tanosa still leading the race just behind the pacemaker, Johnny Wan. Travers then just behind that, the 9-time national champion. And then just behind him, then Dara McElhenney. Said the 355 miler in the field is, as Johnny Wan drops out, the 355 miler is, of course, John Travers. And we're coming up towards the mile shortly. And we're going to come through the mile in about 4:12. So lads are going pretty well here at this stage. That's a fairly decent pace being set here by Tanosa at the front of this field. And Tanosa still leading. Travers then in second, and McElhenney has got a little bit of a gap back to Bradley, the 33-year-old from City of Derry. And just behind that then is Micheál Power, who is losing a little bit of ground, but he would be the slowest athlete of the field indoors. 6 laps to go here. Tanosa still looking incredibly comfortable and dragging this field on that pace, and Travers then just in behind that, always looks very, very comfortable and very long striding, high knee from the De Norman. Always looks like the mile was that 3:55 mile was always in his legs, and McElhenney then just behind him. The UCD athlete from Glengarriff originally. He'll be thinking on a day like today with the wind and the rain pouring down that he's glad not to be going up the Caha Pass down in Glengarriff or looking off in Garnish Island down there in Glengarriff. He's a long way from the Beara Peninsula now, and he's not too far of a distance from John Travers and Tanosa, and Bradley is just behind him as well, but the gap has grown out to Micheál Power. Tanosa still leading as he has done since Johnny Wan dropped out as the pacemaker, and he is dragging the rest of the field on a fairly decent pace. We're motoring quite well now. You can hear in the silence of the stadium here with 4 laps to go, you can hear the deep breathing of the athletes. So they are being put on the rivet to the edge of reason here, at the edge of their fitness. These 4 athletes, Micheál Power back in 5th place, but Tanosa is still leading it. He's looking incredibly metronomic there as he strides around the kind of backlift of his ankles there as it flows away from him. But he's just stepped on the inside of the field there. He's only ran 8:03 indoors here last year. Wouldn't have ran indoors too often as Tanosa. 3 laps to go, 1,200 metres. 600 metres to go for these boys. And going on a really, really fine pace here as we come up now with 500 metres left to go, and the field is bunching behind Tanosa. Travers is looking like he's ready to pounce, and McElhenney, who kicked so mercilessly in last year's National Senior Championships, is following him, and Bradley is running incredibly well here. Remember, 7:58.50 is the qualifying time, and these lads won't be too far away from it at all. Tanosa running really well here, 2 to go, 400 metres left to run. If these boys can run, that was a 6:54, so if we're looking at anything in around that 60 seconds, and they'll put themselves very much in the mix. And Travers has gone by Tanosa, and McElhenney is struggling to respond, and Tanosa responds and almost kills the approach of McElhenney, and Bradley has been blown away by the surge in pace. And coming in now with 300 metres left to run, it is Travers at the front of the field, Tanosa behind, and McElhenney is tearing up beyond Tanosa with a lap to go, 7:22 on the clock. These athletes will be in the mix. They'll certainly be under the European qualifying standard, and Travers is flowing away like the 3:55 miler he is. But the strength of McElhenney, the strength born in Glengarriff, forged in Kenya over the last 6 weeks, is coming after him. But Travers, the 29-year-old, is holding off McElhenney as they come into the home straight. McElhenney is definitely gaining ground on him, but he doesn't look like he's going to gain enough ground. Travers is going to run away with this one, and he's going to win in 7:50, and McElhenney is certainly under the qualifying time as well, and Bradley and Tanosa might have been under 8 minutes as well. That was an incredible performance from Travers. He absolutely stormed away from Tanosa over that last 250 metres, and McElhenney holding on. Micheál Power there just come up towards the line, probably a bit off his PB today, but it was a hot pace. 7:50. What a run from Travers after losing out to McElhenney last year, and you can see the level of the pace as bodies are strewn upon the track here. Bradley is up and walking around, but he may have gone under 8 minutes, which he's never done indoors before. He has around 7:58. We will get an idea of exactly, before we log off here, we'll get an idea of the exact time here, but that was what a way to end the day. Those boys are, as he coming into the home straight, it looked like McElhenney's going to come after him again, but Travers into the lane of high hopes there in second place, and he'll be going two run. He'll be hoping over the next couple of weeks. McElhenney, though, into smashing his own personal best. I would suspect his personal best before this race was 8:01 outdoors, 8:06 indoors, and that is certainly well under that. So what a run from the young man from Glengarriff, the UCD man. Smashing effort from him. And we'll find out Tanosa, 7:52, a man at his best, but led the field there for quite some time, and certainly could have been an indoor PB for him. Still no results up on live.alexander.ie, but we'll hopefully get a result up for you very shortly. So, been a cracking day. National record in the 800 metres, 1:46.10 from Mark English. National under 20 record from Cian McPhillips to go with that. indoor national record. And we've had a couple more qualifiers here. A good run from Sarah Lavin in the hurdles and around, backing up her previous performances. So it's been a cracking day of performances here. A great battle between Matthew Bean and Jared Donald in the 60 metres as well. 1-1. I believe they're going to play some Call of Duty later on to try and figure out who's the winner. And we'll hopefully, if we can get this up and on the screen, we'll get the result for you. John Travers is saying that McElhenney has been DQ'd, but that is just what would be defined as top banter and not actually true. So we have the results: 750.4 for John Travers, 750.8 for Darren McElhenney, 753.70 for Conor Bradley, so well under the 8 minutes, and 753.79 for Hiko Tenosa. So all four of those athletes under the qualifying time. And I'll just check my hastily prepared sheets here. Sean Tobin is the fastest with 7:48, and then we've got Darren McElhenney with 7:50. Bradley and Tenosa, depending on, I haven't written down the tenths of a second here for Brian Fay, so I will check that. But Brian Fay could also be in trouble here with Conor Bradley, and Hiko Tenosa may have ran slightly quicker than him. So bear with me as we figure this out. And we will then go, because the lads from Entry have to go all the way to Limerick, which is bad enough in itself. 7:53.62. So if Faye survives, if that's the way the selection process goes, by the skin of his teeth in front of Bradley and Tenosa. So we'll sign off for another fantastic day here. We've got more action coming your way tomorrow at the Irish Life Health Athletics Ireland Elite Micro Meet. Thanks very much, and we'll see you tomorrow.
At Irish Life Health, we do health insurance, but not as you know it. Like our benefit plan, which gives you up to €250 back on a mix of benefits, like sports clubs, such as your local GAA club, dietitians, and fitness wearables. Helping you embrace a healthier lifestyle. Search Irish Life Health.